Okay, so let's start with question number 1, which is all about nouns. So what is a noun? Give me the definition of a noun first. Tell me in the chat box. Let's do it in the chat box. Definition of a noun. The person, place, or thing. Fantastic. Okay, so if you look around your space, anything that you see is a noun. Any person that you come across is a noun. Any place that you go to is a noun. Okay, so now I'm going to activate this tag and let's put some examples of nouns on the board. Okay, so just type on the board and it will pop up in our little word cloud thing there. Give me an example of a noun. So just look around your space. What do you see? Car. Okay, car is a noun. Good job. What other nouns do we see around us? Everybody. I want everybody to give an example. Book. Okay. That's a noun. Any noun. And there's lots, right? Everywhere you look, there's nouns. Bottle. Okay. That's a noun too. These are all things that we have on the board. If you've already put an example up on the board, if you put another one, it'll change your previous one. So you can put more in the chat box if you want to. So all these are things. So how about people? Somebody give me a noun that would be a person. It's a noun that refers to a person. How about me? What's a noun that would work for me? Because I'm definitely not the president. I wouldn't want to be president. You guys are way too quiet today. Come on. Someone type in the chat box. What's a noun that would work for me? What am I to you? Teacher. There we go. Teacher. You guys are students. Student is a noun as well. Okay. Awesome. All right, don't be shy when we're doing stuff. You guys got to participate because this is my small class. So I need lots of participation from you guys. Okay. Good job. So, in your quiz, question number 1 is the definition of a noun. Question number 2 is the definition of a verb. So let's talk about, come on, let's talk about verbs now. So what's the definition of a verb? What is a verb? Then we'll do examples. What's a verb? There we go. An action. An action, occurrence, or state of being. So verbs are actions or states of being. Okay. So now let's put some examples. And remember, with verbs, if you add an ending to a verb, it's going to change it. So let's just do plain verbs. Don't add endings. Don't add things that aren't verbs when we're looking for examples, okay? So let's just do simple verbs. Come on, Engagely. Active. There we go. Verbs. Examples of verbs. So what's an action? Arrive. Okay. Yep. It's a good verb. What else? Everybody put an example of a verb on the board. So verbs are actions or states of being. So think of an action, so verb. So things that you can do. Say, I jump, I drive, I walk. There we go. Anything else that you could add after I is a verb. And then the state of being verbs are the little verbs. Does anyone remember any of those little verbs that everyone always forgets are verbs? Can anyone give me an example of one of those states of being verbs? Anybody? The little verbs. Sometimes they're 2 or 3 letters long. They're also called helping verbs. Anybody? Sometimes they go in front of these verbs if we added an ending to it. Was, there we go. Get rid of the I, because I is a pronoun, so we don't want anything that's not a verb on the board. Okay, we got am. So get rid of the I. There we go. Was and am are states of being verbs, also known as helping verbs, and those will go in front of these verbs once you add an ending. So like I am walking, once you add the ing, then you need a helping verb. Okay, so it changes it when you add endings and stuff. Okay, awesome. We got some examples. Good job. So let's stop that and let's see. Okay, so let's take a look at these words on the board. Can you guys see the words in blue? Thumbs up if you can read those. I tried to make them as big as possible. Thumbs up if you can see the words in blue. Okay, good. Fantastic. So let's activate this and see if Engagely will like all of these QR tags. Hopefully it will. And select all of the nouns. So only the nouns. Okay. So select the nouns. Make sure you are selecting what I'm asking for, just nouns. Okay, nouns are people, places, or things. Okay, anyone want to change any of their answers? People, places, or things. That's what we're looking for right now. Okay, I'm seeing some people change their answers a little bit. Okay, all right. So this is what we got so far. So people, places, or things. So we got a table, that's a thing. Okay, we got a computer, that's a thing. Mother, that's a person. And then we got friendship. Friendship is an idea, which is also part of the people, place, things, or ideas. It's not a physical object that you can touch, but friendship is one of those weird ones. So I had to add it to there. So things like friendship, love, hope, stuff like that are nouns. All right. Any questions so far? It's very important you guys can tell the difference between the different parts of speech and things like that. Okay. All right. Let's move on then. Okay. Verbs. Let's activate these and select the verbs. We're looking for verbs. Okay. Saw some people change their answers. Okay, so verbs: arrive, yep. Open, yep, those are actions. And now we got some states of being verbs: be and do. All right. Make sense so far? Yes, no, maybe so. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys are way too quiet. It's tough to gauge how you're doing when you guys are so quiet. I wish more people would show up to 5th period. I don't know where everybody is. I think there's like 20 people invited to this session. I don't know where they are. All right. But thank you guys for always being here. Okay, so now let's take a look at the difference between phrases and clauses. And this is going to be super important that you know that you know the difference between phrases and clauses. Okay. And you guys can ignore the little notes icon at the top because I used to require people to take notes. But now I don't. Notes are optional. If you want to take notes, you can. This is a good thing to take notes on if you want to. So, phrases and clauses. In this lesson, we are going to focus on noun and verb phrases and independent and dependent clauses. Okay? So, a phrase is a group of words that act as one grammatical unit. You guys know what a grammatical unit is? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Unit means. Thumbs down. Thank you for telling me. So, when we're talking about a grammatical unit, we mean parts of speech. You guys know the parts of speech? We just talked about 2 of them. Yes. So, nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, conjunctions, things like that. So, a group of words that is acting as one of those things. So a group of words acting as a noun is a noun phrase. A group of words acting as a verb is a verb phrase. Okay? And you see this all the time in sentences. You might not notice it, and that's okay. That's where the learning comes in, when we have to actually recognize the things that we always see, right? It's okay if you have never really thought about it before. So let's focus on just phrases first. In this question, you're matching up what a phrase is and what a clause is. Okay. So phrases are a group of words that act as one grammatical unit, and they will not have both a subject and a verb. And this is where some people have a hard time wrapping their head around it. Okay. So in English, we structure our sentences in a certain way, right? All languages have sentence structures. Some of them are the same as English, some of them are different. Okay. So in English, we have a subject, a verb, and sometimes an object. Okay. That's the basic sentence structure. I want you guys to think of it as a formula. You know how in math, when you have a formula, it has to be in that order? Right? Thumbs up, thumbs down if you guys know that from math. It has to be in that order. You write the formula in that order for a reason. Yeah. Same with sentence structures in English. It has to be in that order. Okay. We don't talk like Yoda. You guys know Yoda, how he talks weird? He puts like the verb first and stuff. Yeah, we don't talk like Yoda. We have subject, verb, object. Okay. So a phrase will not have both a subject and a verb. So I'm going to put the subject formula on the sentence or on the board. Subject, verb, object. Okay. So a noun phrase, and I'm going to highlight the word noun phrase in blue. Okay. So a noun phrase could be in the subject part of the sentence, or it could be in the object part of the sentence. Okay? What is happening? Okay. A verb phrase. So I'm going to put another object. There we go. There we go. A verb phrase, which I'm going to highlight in purple. A verb phrase can be just in the verb part of the sentence, or it can also include something in the object, depending on the sentence. Okay, these things will never overlap. Most of the time. There's always exceptions. I'm losing my mind today. Noun phrases will never include the verb. Verb phrases will never include the subject. Is that clear? Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. Well, I think it'll be easier once we look at actual sentences. All right. So clauses are different than phrases. Clauses are a group of words that do have both a subject and a verb. So there's two different types of clauses, independent and dependent. An independent clause is a complete sentence. Complete sentence. A dependent clause, not a complete sentence, but they will both have a subject and a verb. And we'll talk more later about why dependent clauses are dependent. I'm going to give you a hint. Most of the time it's because of conjunctions. Okay. But they will have both the subject and a verb. Okay. All right. So far, so good. Please let me know if I'm going too fast or if something's not making sense. Okay. So let's talk more about phrases. I believe that's what my next slide is about. No, we're gonna quiz you first. I forgot about these slides. Okay, a phrase will not have both a subject and a verb. Is that true or false? I'm just quizzing you. So remember, all right, this is what we have so far. We're split down the middle. Okay, so remember, we're going to talk about noun phrases and verb phrases. So they're separate. Noun phrases and verb phrases are separate. Noun phrases will not include the verb. Verb phrases will not include the subject. Okay, so they will not have both a subject and a verb. So if you think about noun phrases, verb phrases, how we have two different kinds, that will hopefully help you remember that they will not have both the subject and the verb. Okay. It's okay if you're not getting it yet. Okay. How about clauses? A clause will have both a subject and a verb. Is that true or false? Remember, we have independent and dependent clauses. Come on, Engagely. Engagely, what are you doing? There we go. True or false? A clause will have both a subject and a verb. Let me get a timer. So we have independent and dependent clauses. Independent clauses are complete sentences. So do complete sentences have both a subject and a verb? All right, there we go. Yes, a clause will have both a subject and a verb. All right, good job. Okay, so this slide has a lot of information on it. We're going to start with talking more about noun phrases. So if you get up to question 8 answered, fantastic. If you don't, that's fine too. Okay. We'll probably end up starting here tomorrow anyway. Okay. Because it is 1:39. Okay. So noun phrases are a group of words that function as a noun. And it will include, it can include the subject, object, sometimes a prepositional object. Okay. And I have an example at the bottom of the screen of a phrase, and I should not have a period at the end of that because it's a phrase, it's not a complete sentence. And a noun phrase includes a noun and any modifier that distinguishes it. There we go. Question 7. So yesterday we started talking about noun and verb phrases. Let me get my pen tool here. So a reminder, noun phrase is a group of words that functions as a noun in a sentence, including subject, object, sometimes a prepositional object. Did we talk about this sentence down here, or this noun phrase down here? It's not a sentence. It's a noun phrase. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Did we talk about that yesterday? Anybody? We did? Okay. So, a group of words that functions as a noun, including a subject, object, sometimes a prepositional object. So it's the noun and any modifier that distinguishes it. So in this case, house is the noun. So let me put an N. It's a wonky N, but that's okay. That's an N for noun. And then any modifier that distinguishes it. So modifiers describe. Modifiers give us more information. So it's not just any house, it's a haunted house. And it's not a haunted house down the street, right? It's a haunted house in the woods. So that is a prepositional object right there because the word in is a preposition. Okay? So all that together works as a noun phrase. All right. Verb phrase, and I'm going to activate this so you guys can click that button on the board once you have all 3 of these answered. So a verb phrase is a part of the sentence containing the verb, helping verb, and sometimes an indirect or a direct object. Never has the subject. Okay. So for example, this sentence, walking in the rain, James slipped and fell. James is the subject because James is the one doing the actions. Okay. And we have lots of actions in this sentence that James is doing. He slipped, that's a single verb. He fell, that's a single verb. But then we got this one, walking in the rain. So that's a verb phrase. It's the verb. There we go. And then some kind of object here in the rain, walking in the rain. I don't like this sentence. I should probably change it in the future, but that's an example. Okay? All right. I see 4 of you have clicked that button on the board. Everybody needs. There we go. So let's start with the first one. The building near the bus stand was taken down. So whenever we are looking for noun phrases or verb phrases, you have to keep in mind the sentence structure. So in English, our basic sentence structure is subject, verb, object. Okay? That's how most sentences will be structured. The object part of the sentence could be an adverb, could be an adjective, could be a prepositional phrase, things like that. But the object part of the sentence will come after the verb. And sometimes some sentences don't have an object, and that's okay. So let's take a look at this sentence. The building near the bus stand was taken down. If you are familiar with the sentence structure, you might be able to start by identifying the subject. If not, it might be easier to start with the verb because the verb's the action. Okay, so let's see if we can do that. Let's start with the verb. And this page we're looking for noun phrases, but if we find the verb, we can highlight it in red, and then we know that that's not going to be part of the noun phrase. Okay, so what's the verb? What's the action? Happening in this sentence. The building near the bus stand was taken down. Was taken down. Very good. Very good. Was is a helping verb. Taken is a verb. Down is an adverb. Okay, so was taken down is a verb. I'm highlighting that in red because we're not looking for the verb phrases. We're looking for the noun phrase. But if we highlight it in red, we can see the rest of it. Okay, so now what's left of this sentence says the building near the bus stand. So to find the subject of a sentence, you have to ask yourself what's the noun or pronoun doing the action. So what was taken down? So what was taken down? Anybody? It's all on the board. We're just looking at the sentence. The building. Okay. So the building is our subject. Okay. So that's our main noun. When we're looking for a noun phrase, we always have to find the main noun, and then we got to figure out if there's any modifiers that distinguish it. So modifiers describe, modifiers are going to give us more information. So do we know any more information about this building? Do we know which building was taken down? The one near the bus stand. That's right. So near the bus stand is giving us more information about the building. So all of those words, the building near the bus stand, is a noun phrase. Okay, make sense? Yes? Okay, good. All right, we're going to skip the next sentence because I don't like that sentence. So we're going to take a look at this sentence. The chef added a dash of spices for the flavor of the dish. So again, let's start with the verb. And I'm even going to highlight the verb in our sentence structure red because we're not looking for verbs. We're looking for noun phrases, but if we find the verb, it helps us see the rest of the sentence. So what's the verb in this sentence? The chef added a dash of spices for the flavor of the dish. Verbs are actions. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. So what's the action? Added. Very good. I really do feel like I'm going to sneeze. Nope. I think it's gone. Okay. I hate when that happens. Okay. Added is the verb. So now take a look at our sentence structure in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Subject, verb, object. We can see our verb there highlighted in red. Can you now see both sides of the sentence, the subject side and the object side of the sentence? Super easy to see the rest of the sentence, right? Yes, no, maybe so? Awesome. Okay, so what's our subject? Subject is always the noun or pronoun doing the action. So who or what added? The chef. Very good. So we got the chef as the subject. Is this a noun phrase? Is this a noun phrase? Is it a group of words acting together as a noun? Anybody? Yes or no? First of all, is it a group of words? Thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys got to wake up or something. Yes or no? Is it a group of words? Hello? It's not a trick question. Do we have more than one word? Can you guys hear me? What's happening right now? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay, I see some thumbs up. Okay, so is the subject a group of words? Yes, sure. It's a little group, but sure. So that we can have more than one noun phrase in a sentence. That's okay. All right, so we got the chef added, and what's the object? What did the chef add? Spices. Okay, so that's our main noun. Are there any words that modify spices? Any words that describe spices? Any words that distinguish spices? Okay, a dash of spices. Okay. Anything else that gives us more information about spices? What about flavor? What about flavor? We got to look at the words that are in the sentence. For the flavor, okay? So the dashes are for the flavor. For the flavor of anything particular? Of the dish. There we go. For the flavor of the dish. That's a long noun phrase, and that's okay. But all of those bits and pieces are describing spices. Okay, it gets more specific. Noun phrases get more specific. Okay? Sound good? Okay, cool. So we have less than a minute left, so we are definitely not going to be able to finish this. And we didn't even look at the sentences for questions 9 and 10. So we will just pick up from here tomorrow. So we got to question 8, I'm going to say. And we'll look at the sentences for questions 9 and 10 tomorrow. Oh wait, no, we have 10 minutes. What am I thinking? It's only 1:30. Okay, we got 10 minutes. We got time. My goodness. All right. So you know what? I'm gonna give you guys whiteboard tools now. Okay. Let's see if you guys can do it. Because these are the sentences for questions 9 and 10. I just had a brain fart. I thought we ended it. I don't know why. 140 is when we end. Okay. So you guys have whiteboard tools. So you can highlight the verb in red because we're not worried about the verb right now, and then that will help us find the noun phrases. And these two sentences are on your quiz. Okay, I saw something. Where'd it go? Okay, we got visited as a verb. Is there anything that goes with visited? What's our subject of that sentence? We finally visited the well-known Museum of Arts today. What's the subject? You guys can tell me in the chat box too. We is the subject. Okay, so what's that word finally belong to? Is it part of the subject? Or is it part of the verb? Part of the verb. There we go. Finally visited. So we got a verb phrase there. So what was finally visited? And good job for highlighting we in a different color. A noun phrase. It's just a singular word. So fantastic job for that. There we go. We got some stuff highlighted. So does everything on the right side get highlighted? So we got to ask ourselves what the main noun is. So let's find the main noun. What's the main noun? Who can tell me? You can like underline it in a different color or something. So we're working on this sentence right now. So what's the main noun in the object part of that sentence? What was finally visited? The museum. Okay. So what words are describing the museum? Okay, it was the Museum of Arts. Okay. Anything else? Describe the museum. Well known. Right, there we go. The well-known Museum of Arts. How about that word today? What is that? Does it describe the museum? Does the word today describe the museum? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Okay. It's just telling us when the visit is happening. So it's an adverb. Okay. And that word today could be moved to the beginning of the sentence and it wouldn't change the meaning of the sentence at all. Today, we finally visited the well-known Museum of Arts. So it's not connected to the museum at all. Okay. So the well-known Museum of Arts, that's our noun phrase in that one. Good job. Okay. How about the next one? How about the next sentence? The boy with the green shirt kicked dirt. So let's find all the things. Okay, we got a verb. Good job. Kicked is the verb. Any noun phrases highlighting green? So what's our subject? All right, we got a lot going on here. What's our subject? You guys can tell me in the chat box. What's our subject? So who or what is doing the kicking? The boy. Okay, so I'm going to put an S above that for subject. Okay, so are there any words that describe the boy? Green shirt. Okay. What about the green shirt? How is the green shirt associated with the boy? Is he standing on it? Is he looking at it? Is he washing it? Is he How do we know that the green shirt is connected to the boy? We got another word. With. With. There we go. It's the boy with the green shirt. Okay, so how come the boy is not highlighted in green? Should the boy be highlighted in green? There we go. So that whole thing that's green, the boy with the green shirt, is a noun phrase. So now why is dirt highlighted in green? Is dirt part of our noun phrase? No, dirt's not part of our noun phrase. Dirt's the object of the sentence, and it's all by itself. But the boy with the green shirt is our noun phrase in the subject part of the sentence. Okay? Makes sense? So we talked about the noun phrases. We highlighted the verb so we could see the other parts of the sentence, right? You guys remember that from yesterday? Yes? Yes. Okay, cool. So let's practice finding a noun phrase in this sentence. A three-legged puppy was found last week. There we go. A three-legged puppy was found last week. So what words go with the noun phrase in that sentence? And I'm going to give you guys a timer. If we look at this sentence, a three-legged puppy was found last week. What's the main noun? What's the main noun? So what's the subject of this sentence? Puppy. Puppy, that's right. Puppy is the subject of this sentence. So what words go with puppy? And I'm going to share the results here. So what other words go with puppy? So remember, noun phrases are the noun and any modifiers that distinguish it. So what else do we know about the puppy? It had 3 legs. Yeah, a 3-legged puppy. That's the noun phrase. Nothing else describes that puppy. Okay, was found is a verb phrase. Last week is the object because that's when it was found. Okay, a 3-legged puppy is the noun phrase. All right, is it making a little more sense? Maybe, hopefully. Okay, good. And thank you for responding. All right, so let's talk about verb phrases. So remember, verb phrases are the action and any helping verb. Sometimes adverbs are in there too. So I'm going to give you guys whiteboard tools and let's see if you can find the verb phrases. So we're just highlighting the verb phrases. Yesterday we highlighted the verb so we could see the rest of the parts of the sentence. So now we're just highlighting the verb phrases. So what are those verb phrases? Oh, and I should put a timer up. All right, let's see. I'm going to get my green pen out. All right, she can smell the pizza. Good job. He has appeared on screen as an actor. I will have been studying Italian for 3 years. Okay. I was told earlier that nobody could hear me if I talked through the dinging, so I'm going to wait for the dinging to end whenever I have a timer. All right, these cards may be worth hundreds of dollars, and the man was texting on his phone. Okay, so what is easier to identify, verb phrases or noun phrases for you guys? The verb phrases? Okay, I hear that a lot. Okay, thank you. And you guys did a fantastic job identifying the verb phrases. So I can see that the verb phrases are easier. Okay, so let's practice identifying a verb phrase in this sentence. She went quickly to the mall. So let's select all of the words that go in the verb phrase. She was walking quickly to the mall. And again, timer. Gotta remember the timer. Okay. She was walking quickly to the mall. What's our subject of this sentence? The subject is always the noun or pronoun doing the action. Remember our sentence structure. Subject, verb, object, in that order. So what's our subject? She is our subject. Okay. And the subject is never included in the verb phrase. Never, ever. Okay, so she is not part of the subject. What was she doing? So it's our main verb, the action. What was she doing? Walking. She was walking. And was walking. There we go. We got to include that helping verb. Is there any other word that goes with the walking that helps describe the walking? Any other word that's describing the walking? Quickly. There we go. She was walking quickly. That's the verb phrase. Was walking quickly. All right. Good job. Okay. So now let's talk about independent and dependent clauses. Hopefully this will not take a super duper long time to explain. I feel like independent and dependent clauses are probably easier than noun and verb phrases, but we'll see. You guys tell me. So an independent clause can stand alone. Let me get my laser pointer out here. An independent clause can stand alone as a sentence, and it expresses a complete thought. So another word for independent clause is complete sentence. Okay. A dependent clause cannot stand alone as a sentence. It does not express a complete thought. Okay, so let's talk about these words, independent and dependent. We've heard these words before, right? What does independent mean? You want to be an independent person one day, right? And maybe some ways you are independent in some ways, but you might be dependent in other ways. So what can an independent person do? Let's talk about what that word means. An independent person can do what kinds of things? Anything. Like, I'm an independent adult. What kinds of things can I do? Make their own decisions. Sure. All by myself. I can decide what I want to do. Yep. All by myself. What else can I do? What else can I do as an independent person? Anybody. Just throw something out there. We're just brainstorming here. Making sure we know what independent means. What else can I do? Don't overthink it. We're talking about people now. We're talking about people. So independent people. What kinds of things can they do? If you were an independent person, we're trying to connect this to real life. Yes, independent people can express their own thoughts all by themselves. Yep. They don't need anybody else to tell them what they're thinking. They can do it on their own. What else can we do on our own as independent people? This has a point, I promise. Buy a car. Sure. I could go to the car dealership all by myself and buy a car. What else can I do? You guys are overthinking it a little bit. Yeah, do my own things without help. What kinds of things? Just name stuff. Anything. What kinds of things can independent people do? Talking, writing, walking? Absolutely. I can walk all by myself. Yep, I could cross the street all by myself if I wanted to. I don't need any help, right? Do you guys remember when you were little and you couldn't do those things by yourself? You couldn't walk across the street by yourself? Anyone remember that? When you're little and your parents tell you, don't cross the street by yourself. You got to hold somebody's hand. Right? Right. I have a 3-year-old. She can't cross the street by herself. She needs to hold my hand. Okay? So when we're thinking about independent clauses and dependent clauses, think about the adult who can do things on their own. They can stand by themselves. They can cross that street by themselves. And then think about the little kid. The dependent clause can't do those things by themselves. They need to hold the hand of an independent clause to be able to be part of a complete sentence. Okay? I don't know if that analogy is helpful or not, but it helped me when I was learning these things. So, an independent clause can stand by itself. Dependent clause, it needs to be connected to another independent clause to be able to be in a sentence. Okay? So let's take a look at dependent clauses. So, when we have complete sentences, they will have a subject and a verb, sometimes an object, right? Dependent clauses will also have a subject and a verb, but there's something that makes the clause dependent. And one of those things is subordinating conjunctions. There are other things, but they're a little bit more complicated. And we're just going to focus on subordinating conjunctions for this part, okay? So let me get my annotation tools out here. So if we look at this sentence on the board, I trust him because he is a trustworthy person. The part that's highlighted is a dependent clause. The part that's not highlighted is an independent clause. Okay, so I'm going to label those. Independent. That one right there. And dependent. Okay, and this highlighted bit is dependent because of that subordinating conjunction, because, and I'm going to underline that right there. Okay. So I'm going to break this sentence apart into its parts. I trust him. There we go. That could be a sentence all by itself. So that's an independent clause. Because he is a trustworthy person. Okay. This is not a complete sentence all by itself. So that's why I want to separate them. Do you guys see that? Because he is a trustworthy person, it doesn't express a complete thought. It feels like there's something missing, right? Because he is a trustworthy person. What? Okay. So that word because creates a dependent clause. If we didn't have that dependent clause and it just said he is a trustworthy person, that could be a sentence all by itself. Okay. Do you guys see that? Those subordinating conjunctions weaken it and make it dependent. So now it has to be connected to something else. Okay, awesome. So let's take a look at, and I have QR codes. So we are going to first select all of the independent clauses. Let's see if you guys can do it. So let's read these clauses together and just click the independent ones, the ones that can be sentences all by themselves. The movie was thrilling. Before I did. When we hesitated. Jeremy flattened the dough. Molly muttered the poem. Reed lost his book. Because I want ice cream. Before school begins. So which of those are independent clauses? Which of those can be sentences or are sentences all by themselves? They don't need anything else. Let me get a timer. Okay, so let's see. The movie was thrilling. You guys got it. Jeremy flattened the dough. Molly muttered the poem. Reed lost his book. So do you guys see a pattern with these? We got a subject, we got a verb, got an object. The others have a subordinated conjunction at the beginning. Before, when, because, before. So remember the subject or the sentence structure, subject, verb, object. If it doesn't start with a subject, it's going to be a dependent clause. Does that make sense? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Okay, so let's go back a slide. Okay. So I want to annotate. So these are the same, or well, I think we have another one that wasn't on there. But these are similar sentences. So I'm going to highlight the subordinating conjunctions. Before, when, because, when. Okay. Do you guys see the pattern? If it's a complete sentence, it will just have subject, verb phrase in this case, and some of these will have, I mean, they all have a subject and a verb, subject and a verb. But if it starts with the subordinating conjunction, subject, verb, object, you guys see it? If there's something before the subject, a subordinating conjunction, it's dependent.